Hey, Brian.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Deal. There we are.
Is it just me, or does my image have a slightly purple tint to it?
Looks black and white from here.
Yeah, that's all right to me, too.
I guess I need to calibrate this monitor.
Brian, can you unmute Jim?
Jim?
Yeah, it says
Sometimes
he's
he's in
muted.
a meeting. I usually don't unmute him because sometimes he's doing something else as well. I see you're there, Gaylor. Let me unmute Gaylor. He's talking, but I can't hear him. Should be able to hear you now, Gaylor.
Yeah, I closed down a couple screens that were in the background, and now I only get you. And if I go to Zoom, nothing happens. Quit Zoom, start Zoom.
Dennis, Jim messaged me and said that he doesn't have a mic or camera until his other PC boots up.
Oh. Okay.
Hi, Beth.
Hey, Brian. Hey, gang. Now do you know where Nate gets it from?
Yeah.
Can you guess my background?
Well, it kind of says up in the corner, live from Fenway Park.
Oh, sorry. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
That might be a little good of a giveaway. I'm not sure, but it
Yeah.
might be.
Mhm.
Okay. Love you. The Boston skyline.
I had Jim on here a minute ago.
Yeah.
He disappeared. I don't know. Maybe he decided he didn't want to come to the meeting.
Jim Meehan?
No,
Oh,
Jim
Yeah,
Murphy.
Murphy. Yeah,
Murphy.
that one.
he was here.
Here comes Jim back.
Oh,
Good evening.
Hi, Jim. Welcome back.
I've been having trouble with this computer. The audio, something has caused it to turn off. The only way to get it back on is to reboot the computer.
Yeah, throw it away and buy a new one.
All right, thanks.
That's what I did.
Hey, Beth.
yeah.
So I didn't comment on your photo.
Mhm.
I like it, but I agree. I forget who made the comment, or you just acknowledged it yourself. The border should have gone over the entire photo. Just
Oh,
my
for
opinion.
The earlier one,
The one you posted maybe yesterday?
that one, the border goes all the way around.
Well, no, okay. Well, then what I meant is I didn't like the border.
Okay.
The photo, other than that, it's really awesome. It
Thanks.
looks really cool.
I'm sorry, I should have checked that out. I didn't look at Reddit yesterday or today.
It's still there.
Okay. Did you use your lens, baby?
Yeah, one of them.
I was using mine too,
Yeah.
but it's a challenge, you know.
Yeah, it can be. And it doesn't work for everything.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes you think it's going to be good and it's not quite. But I usually just take a bunch of different shots and see if something is worth looking at later.
Is anybody else having trouble hearing Beth?
A little bit.
Oh,
Not me.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll turn my volume up. I can hardly hear you.
Let me- I turned my microphone up. Is that a little bit better?
Yep.
It's better, yes.
Okay.
It's not great, but it's definitely better.
Okay. I can turn it up more. I don't know how bad it'll get though. I've also got the AC on in the house, so it's
That's much better there.
okay.
Okay, Beth, I'll ask the question. Why are you going to drop kick Murphys?
They are one of my favorite bands, and they have been since I was up there. They started out as a local Boston band, and they were starting out around the same time that I got there in '93. And with everything going on, because they do concerts internationally now, they canceled everything through the end of the year so that all of their fans would get their money back and have it to use for their own stuff.
Oh.
And then they've put on 2 free concerts on Facebook. One that was done at a secret location in New Hampshire. And then that was on St. Patty's. And then they did the one, the 29th of May. And their big thing is donate to these causes, and it's Feeding America, the Boston Resiliency Fund, and Habitat for Humanity.
Nice.
They got nothing from it themselves. They had to follow all of Massachusetts rules for doing the concert. And they're not supposed to have more than 35 people in one place at one time, even apparently Fenway Park. And they did the concert with a total of 34 people.
Wow.
And they're great. They're high energy. And if you don't know their music, it's basically like Boston punk Irish, kind of.
I'm still kind of confused. Is Dropkick Murphys a positive comment or a negative comment?
The Dropkick comes from, that's the name of the band, but Dropkick
that's the name
comes
of the band.
from doing a drop kick in soccer. They're all soccer players as well.
Okay.
A drop kick is when the goalie bounces the ball off the turf as he's kicking the ball, if you will.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It's football.
And I know I read something on the origin of Murphy's part, but I don't remember what it was because I don't think anybody in the band has the name Murphy. I know the
Well,
lead
of
singer
course
is
not.
Ken Casey, so.
Well, I,
Hi, Rex.
Hey, hi. I'm just writing down the name. I'm not sure how to spell Basie or Casey?
Casey.
Casey. Okay.
C-A-S-E-Y.
Oh. Got it. Okay. I love music a little bit. That's why I want to go check them out.
They're different than what you hear around here most of the time.
Okay.
Hey, Rex, I fixed the issue on Reddit and got the June challenge up, so that's available now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had a couple items that I put up, and for one reason or another, there was something wrong with them. One is totally my wrong. The other one was I couldn't figure out what to do. Okay, so we've got it. I'll be putting stuff up there.
Yeah, it'll come up as a flare now. I put it in.
Okay, Go ahead. Go ahead. I was shooting birds earlier today, and I am 0 for 0. And I put peanut butter all over what I call my fishing pole, which is attached to the shepherd's cane that I get them to light on. And they were looking the other way or they were out of the field of view. Wasn't my day. We'll do it again.
Thank you, Brian, for doing that because I've been having a hard time.
It's all right. I got it. You may not be able to. I have to see what level of clearance you have.
Okay.
That may be why you're having a hard time with it, but it's not the easiest thing to do. They didn't make that like, oh, just go in and add it and it shows up. You have to add it and then tell it to show up, and then you have to go somewhere else and tell it to show up there. And they didn't make it a very easy process, but it's done. So
I even went on like YouTube to try to figure it out, and it was like, okay, that button doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to make it work too, and it looked like it was doing everything it was supposed to, except when I pressed post, the post was dead. It was grayed out. It didn't do anything. So I figured I'm not supposed to be there.
Yeah. It's all right. I got it working. It's there.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah,
So
I got it.
DL, where's your bridge?
That's in Pittsburgh.
Good question. I have no idea where I was when I shot that.
Not in the Pittsburgh area?
I would say it's at least an hour south, and I don't know.
Okay.
Annie, did you hear anything from Margie? Is she coming?
I don't know. I didn't talk to her today. So.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, especially after we had dinner last night at Outback. That was great.
Annie and I went for a ride yesterday, and I directed her to Outback in West Virginia, and we ate. We ended up eating dinner there. We did go take a few pictures, but I was more interested in where we could direct to dinner. All right. Well, I guess we could get started. I'm not 15 minutes in and no one else is joining, so I don't know if anyone else is coming or not. We got 11 people tonight so far. So tonight we were going to talk about, well, our original plan would have been to have family at St. Vincent's College outside so that we could pose them and take pictures of them and stuff like that. But obviously that plan has not worked out. And as of right now, I haven't heard anything more from St. Vincent's about anything beyond this month. I know this month was canceled for us, but they haven't given me any more information for next month at this point. And I don't know what the deal is with the town hall in Ligonier. I was hoping Margie would be on here. I know the last time I was up there and talked to Margie, it was still closed. I don't know if they have now opened up or not, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of like doing that meeting virtually anyhow, because I think you guys can see the screen better than whenever I show it with a projector up there. But
I think it might be easier for us to use our own computers, you know, to do that too.
yeah, so we'll kind of talk about that.
I'm not sure she's getting on or not. She's at home. She forgot.
We've had a meeting on the second Monday of the month for what, since 1972. And
Yeah, she
Margie
forgot.
But anyhow, so we'll check into it. I don't know what St. Vincent's going to do as far as allowing people onto their campus yet or not. I haven't heard anything, nor with the other place. As far as that goes. Trying to think if there was anything else as far as that information. I don't think so. I looked at the website for Mill Creek Park today. A lot of their indoor stuff is closed and will remain closed through August.
Through August?
Yeah.
August 31st, according to what the website's telling me.
Wow.
But all of their outdoor stuff is open. All their trails are open, and most of what we wanted to do out there anyhow was outdoors anyhow. The gardens are open, all that kind of stuff. For everything I can find says that that's all open, and just you have to maintain your distances and all that kind of stuff, the same as everywhere else at this point. So I think that as of right now, that trip looks like it's a good to go for the 27th. I told work today that I wasn't coming to work on the 27th, and my boss looked at me and went, "Okay." So,
As far as anything,
you weren't
indoors,
worried?
no, I
Mill-
wasn't worried. What's that, Annie?
as far as at Mill Creek Park, the only two things that are indoors is like when you could go in the mill itself and the at the top of the hill, you know, where the gardens are, the building that's there that has they have a small restaurant in there and
Yeah,
the cafe, whatever,
that
and a gift shop. So we're really not missing anything at all with that. that'd be
Well,
all right.
people might want to know whether the restrooms are open there or not.
Well, the only thing I could find on restrooms was that they might be limited. It didn't say that they were closed. It didn't say they were open. It just said that they might be limited. And if we look at, this is the Davis building that Annie was just mentioning. It says here, due to COVID-19, this facility is closed until August 31st. And if I go back to the mill itself, which I've never been in the mill either, anyhow.
Yeah, I've been it.
I've been in it.
I've been in it
It's
too.
really dark.
Okay. So the mill itself, same thing, due to COVID-19, the facility is closed until August 31st of 2020. So the interiors of those places are closed. But everything else seems to be open. I haven't found anything that says any restrictions at all throughout their website. So I'm just thinking that for what we want to do as far as going out there, that makes sense. Restaurants and stuff in Ohio are open. So
There's plenty around there.
yeah, I don't think eating is going to be an issue. So restrooms at the restaurants will be available. I don't know if any of the fast food places are going to be open yet or available for indoor stuff, because around here they haven't, at least in Uniontown, they haven't opened yet. They're still doing drive-through only. But we'll see how that works out. I mean, it's still early in June as far as that goes, but I don't see a reason why we can't go out here. I think that it's still I think it's a viable place to go, that we can go out and take some pictures and have a good time. I did check, YM Camera is open 7 days a week, so they'll be open. Where's Melissa? Melissa's not on there, so.
She's coming. I sent her a text message. Her puppy Zeba ate a cat toy hole, and she had to make her sick to get it out. So she's in the middle of cleaning that up.
That falls under too much information, Annie. You could have just said wait here in a minute.
Sorry, that was the text message I got.
Well, again, you could have filtered that a little bit and said, "Hey, Melissa will be here in just a minute or two." So anyhow, I think that looks good for the trip out. We'll do a little bit more planning, figure out if anybody wants or is willing to do carpooling, or if we're going to meet somewhere and follow everybody, or if we're going to meet out there. All that kind of stuff. We'll figure that out in the next week or so and have that information ready for y'all. That sound good to you guys?
Sounds good.
Yep. Works for me.
Okay.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
As long as we get a specific spot to meet.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll decide.
For those of us who get lost when we go places like that.
Who would get lost?
We'll decide like what the best place to meet is, as far as either meet closer to home and follow each other out or that kind of stuff, or if we're going to get out there and say we're going to meet at this place. So I'll kind of figure that out a little bit here, and we'll work on that.
For those who haven't been there, the park is huge.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Where did I see that? I seen that on, I don't know, it's 4,500 acres is what it is.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was a lot bigger than Brian ever thought it was.
It's got to be at least 10 miles long.
It says right there. It's let's see. Mill Creek Park was established in 1891 by Baloney Rogers. Balney? I don't know. Mill Creek Park is the largest area of the metro parks, encompassing 2,658 acres of the metro's 4,500 plus acres. So Mill Creek is pretty close, or actually maybe a little more than around half of what they have for parks out there. So it's big. There's a lot there. They did say that they were going to start playing softball. I'm not going out to play softball, but I did see where they said they were going to start doing that already. So anyhow, that's an update on that. Anybody else have anything that they would like to bring up or mention? Or
I went to Phipps today.
okay,
Had my ticket. You got to get it in. Well, this week you have to be a member. And it's like going through Giant Eagle grocery store. They got arrows, tell you where to go. Blocked off some of the loops. And I don't know how many people they let in. I was there at 9:30, but it wasn't a lot. So they're pretty heavily controlling the crowd. But the flower show was okay.
okay, good.
You have a timed ticket, Dennis, to get in?
Yeah, you got to make an advance registration. Starts at 9:30. Every 30 minutes after that.
There's quite a few places doing that. Even the zoo's doing that too.
Yeah. It's all right, as long as you know ahead of time.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Rex. I just unmuted you.
Oh, yeah, the whole works just dropped out. I'm the only one that dropped out?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just in the middle of writing down what you were saying, and all of a sudden it was all gone. Okay, done.
You're back. All right. Well, so the flower show was okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I like the early morning. You got some interesting light on some of the plants, flowers.
Yeah.
Good.
I did go to, on Sunday, made the trek to Ohio Pile, which wasn't catastrophic, but it was a no-stop zone. I went over to Confluence.
Okay. Yeah, Ohio Pile would have been pretty
Yeah, it was.
pretty busy. Would have been my guess.
This time of year, for the last probably 8 years, I have not gone there on a weekend.
No, that's good.
From
advice.
about early May to maybe late September, it's just not worth it unless you want to take pictures of crowds of people.
Yeah.
If you go to Ohio Pile this time of year, you have to go first thing in the morning, very, very early. And it's not too bad. Or you want to go towards the end of the day when people have started to go home for the day. And then it's not too bad, you can get in. But anything between, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock and 4 or 5 is a waste of time because you're not going to get in. You're not going to find a place to park. You're not going to be able to take pictures without people in them. If you go to Cucumber Falls, there'll be 10,000 people trying to walk behind the falls. So yeah, it's tough, but it can be done. And then if you have the time to go through the middle of the week, it's much better.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays seem to be pretty good.
Yep.
If the weather's good.
Yep.
Like not roasting like tomorrow's going to be.
Yeah, tomorrow's what, 95 or something like that.
Yeah.
I will be in my darkroom.
I'm
Because
going
it's
to be
cool or you're making photos?
I'm going to be at work. And then Wednesday I'm off, so I'll be riding around in my truck because it has air conditioning and my house does not.
Beth, are you printing photos or just keep it cool?
Maybe both. Hopefully both. I've got a couple batches of film to develop too, so.
Hey, Beth, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
My cousin gave me an old Brownie camera.
Okay.
And it has a roll of film in it.
Okay.
Is there any way we could you could maybe see what's on it?
Depending on whether if it fits in one of my tanks, I probably can.
So color black and white.
No guarantees.
You know what? I'm not even sure whether it's color black and white. I know it's not 35 millimeter. It's a little bit longer roll.
Yeah, it's probably 120. Or it might even have been 127.
I don't know.
It's actually similar to 120, but
yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a plastic
like,
hold on a second.
like, I don't know if you can really see it against my hand, but
Yeah.
felt like that.
Yep.
That's 120.
Okay. Yeah, that's what was in it. I was gonna say I could go out to the kitchen and get it.
Well, if it's 120 black and white, it's doable. If it's color, I know somebody that could.
Okay.
So,
One way or the other.
yeah.
Have we got time for a quick show and tell?
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually probably for Beth or anybody that likes this kind of thing. It'll take me a few seconds to pull it out. It's coming in its parts. I don't know when the last time was that you saw. Oh, let me get the full screen here. A little tiny postage stamp screen. This is a Polaroid 600 SE.
Yeah.
You familiar with these little fellas?
No.
Yeah, sort of.
Good. Range finder. Place for the flash on top. And Polaroid backs for it. Uses Polaroid PN55. Remember that? Do you still use PN55 at all?
I used to use T55, but it's
T55.
gone.
And then this is the beauty of it all right here.
There are other things you could put that on too.
Yeah, I think if it has the Mamiya mount.
Okay.
I think it's the Mamiya mount for 6 by 7. 6 by 7 centimeter. Yeah, and although they used a cap that says Polaroid on it, it's really, I think, a Mamiya.
I can think of a lens board that'll fit on too.
Yeah. This is,
I could probably make a lens board that it would fit on.
This, I think it's a 127, right? What does it say in there? Yeah, it's a 127 millimeter. And what was it? There was something strange about it that.
That's a nice normal distance for 4x5.
For that format, yeah.
Covers it.
Okay, that's the end.
Cool.
Thanks, Rex.
If you say, I want to borrow it, I don't care, any of you. If you want to say, I want to borrow it, you got it, okay? It's like new.
This is what I got. I don't know if it showed up.
What was that?
Cool.
I said, this is what I ended up getting.
Oh, wow, a Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a couple like that.
Brownie, Hawkeye, Kodak, camera, flash model.
Beautiful.
I see 4 of them on my counter from here.
Well,
See
if I know how to get the film out. Oh, there it is. Never mind. I think I got it.
One thing talks will show you how old the system is this is
Those are great, Rex.
that's what you had to use to fire the shutter.
Yeah, I got about 6 or 7 of those around because I use that for 4x5.
Mhm. Yeah, and this handle is built in. It's all a part of the system.
I have one of those somewhere.
You do?
That cable release.
It's just the handle. I don't know why I have just the handle, but I've got a handle with a cord release type thing on it.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea what it came from, but it's in a box in here somewhere.
That
You
cable
probably
release-
acquired some accessories from somebody and it was in the box with it. A
Yeah.
friend of mine used to call them stowaways.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I know.
That cable release would fit on my Nikon F5.
Yeah.
It has both an electronic or a manual cable release for it.
Yeah, the only thing is this one is built into that handle, and the handle
Okay.
is built into the box, so the whole works as one piece.
I got you. Yeah.
You just thread it into whatever lens you happen to have on the mount.
Beth, what is Verichrome pan 620?
Okay. Yeah, that's black and white.
Okay, that's what's in there. And it's been sealed, the roll's been, it's been sitting in that camera, I don't know how long.
Yeah. Probably for as long as we've been alive.
That would be
Probably.
a neat film to develop.
No guarantees that there'll still be images on it.
Yep.
But
Well, I know that, I just figured
Then again,
never know until we try.
So
It
then
was in
again,
there.
it might have the secret to where Jimmy Hoffa is.
I don't know, but
You never know.
yeah, I did acquire 2 from my cousin's house. My uncle was in World War II, and we were going through boxes and stuff, and I was going through some flags, and I found 2 Nazi flags. One's a small triangle that's like 14 inches by 7, and the other one is 42 inches by 21 inches high.
The small one was probably on a vehicle.
Yeah, it could have been because it still has the 2 little metal rings on there. Like it was flying. And I think my brother found that one. He said it's worth something about between $200 and $500 for one of those. Somebody was, and he said he couldn't find anything about the bigger one though.
Hmm.
But my uncle brought those back from Germany, from the war. Kind of creeped me out a little bit.
All right, guys. Jim, did you want to do anything with critiquing tonight?
We can. We can. I think maybe last month we did the review of the photos that had been submitted for the monthly contest. You want to do that again?
That is perfectly fine. Yeah, whatever you want to do. I just need to take up some time, really.
What, you want me to waste time?
No, I need you to take up some time.
You
Not
froze.
waste it.
Brian froze. You are frozen, Brian.
I'm frozen.
Okay. Let's see. Hold on for a second.
There he is.
I see everybody. Everybody seems to be moving for me.
Yeah, you were froze
You
for
were
a while
frozen.
there.
Oh,
Okay, you want me to do this now?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you see my Reddit page?
Yep.
All right, we'll just start scrolling down through. Let's see, Michael's not on the call, but so I don't think we should, well, I think the person ought to be on the call if we're going to critique the photos, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how the rest of you feel, but Michael posted a couple of photos here, although he didn't ask for a critique. I guess you can feel free to post your comments on the site. First one's a pawn shop. Tulips from Phipps.
Hey, Jim, if you wanted to bring it to all the ones that were for the contest for last month,
Yeah.
you scroll up just a little bit. See where it says see more right there underneath World Beauty on the right?
Oh, I do.
Click on see more.
Okay.
And then click on the May Photographer's Choice.
Oh, that brings them all up sequential. That's good.
And
Thank you.
yeah, that will limit it to just the May Photographer, anything that had that tag on it. That way you can kind of go down through those.
Okay, good idea. Thank you.
Yep.
So, Annie, do you want critiqued or not?
Go for it. I don't care.
Okay, first
all
you
up
want to
for
tell
it.
us a little about the photo.
No. Decided to go and
What the heck is that?
I don't know. What'd you click on?
Oh, I somehow I hit Pinterest.
You click the button to post it to Pinterest.
Oh, shoot. Now it disappeared completely.
Is Annie on Pinterest now?
I don't know. He may have put me there.
Yeah, you weren't before, you are now.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know why that's happening.
Actually,
If you're hitting that little square that's
just
in the top corner,
Oh, is
just
that
click on
not?
the picture.
yeah, just hit back.
See, this is what
You
happened.
might have to
last
hit
time.
it,
It's not
hit
going
back a
for
couple
me.
of times.
Hit back.
That's funny. It leaves it completely for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, deja vu here.
Hit the middle of the picture.
Yeah, just click on the picture. There you go.
Why did I do that the first time?
I don't know.
Okay, so Annie, tell us about the photo.
Marty and I were playing around. We just decided we were gonna play around with some lights and crystal balls. And that was one of the results. We had it on a black, shiny, reflective surface, and then in a light, well, in one of those, I guess I would call it a light box, and we put a black canvas in the back, and we were just playing around. We thought, see what we could get with the crystal balls and some lights that we had. These are actually a string of like a battery operated string of like Christmas lights, the little neon lights. And I don't know, it was one of the ones I really liked.
Nice and colorful.
Yeah, I like the colors in it. I like the results that, the crystal balls that were showing up in the crystal balls, and the reflections. That was just one of my favorite ones that we had done that day.
Any comments from the crowd?
Yeah, her partner could have done better with the lights. She didn't swing them very nice.
She was having a little problem with them.
Sorry, Annie.
We were laughing, but
Isn't it, when you start playing with those?
All right, we'll move on.
What's that, Melissa?
I said it's addicting when you start playing with the lights and those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were trying to figure that one out.
Interesting, because as soon as I saw it, I wondered how you did it. I liked it.
Yeah, well, we had a string of lights and we were just like kind of dangling them in the back and moving them around just to, see what kind of effects we could get with them. So we were
Okay,
bunching
Annie, tell
up.
us about this one.
Well, I was coming back from Ligonier and went on the one back road and ended up behind the gray goose. And I found a goose. I found a white swan. And I was standing there, and he decided he was going to come out of the water right by me. And then the wind was picking up, and the wind just started blowing his feathers up, and I just thought it looked kind of cool. So I happened to get his picture with his feathers being ruffled a little bit. And I turned him into a black and white, just for something a little bit different.
It's perfect for black and white.
Yeah, I kind of liked him better in the black and white than in color. It just seemed to bring out a little bit more. And then I put there's a little texture, there's a little bit of grain in the black and white. I was kind of going for a little bit older look to the black and white. Oh, a bit.
Somebody should try sepia tone.
Might. Oh, I hadn't even thought of the sepia tone. Yeah, I kind of liked his ruffled feathers though. Yeah, being blown in the wind.
I like the curve of the neck against the curve of the body. They don't overlap with the ruffled feathers.
I liked him.
It's a beautiful bird. And then the highlight is up near his head too, so it draws your attention to his head.
Yeah, this was later in the evening. It was probably about 8 o'clock. So the sun was starting to go down, and the light was hitting him a little bit while he was standing there. He's kind of dirty. His actual, he wasn't really white up around his neck. He's really kind of like has that dirty look to his white feathers on his neck a little bit. So the light really helped kind of hide that. But here's a nice.
All right, move on. Andy, I'm going to give somebody else a chance to talk unless you really want to talk about this one.
That's up to you. You do what you want.
Okay, let's just move on. Get somebody else a chance here. Jim, do you mind us talking about your photo?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I was actually photographing, there was this fallen tree that had a stump. It looked like it was down for about, I don't know, about a year or two. So it wasn't completely gone, but there was a little tree growing out from like the center of the trunk. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was trying to photograph that. And oh, by the way, this is Braddock's Trail Park in North Huntington. Down photographing, trying to photograph that tree and get it how I wanted it. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. And then I look up and that's what's looking at me. And I just happened to have my 200 millimeter on and had the correct settings. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to point it up and take a picture. And then he started making a couple noises and like almost like a hissing noise at me. And I was like, well, I'm not trying to aggravate him anymore. And then I looked back and I saw his partner a little bit further behind. But that's kind of the backstory with the photo.
Nice.
That's nice.
It's amazing how centered he's looking directly at the camera.
Oh, he was looking through me.
And
Yeah,
whether you had time to set the aperture to get that nice depth of field or not, I don't know. But I mean, it's the deer just pops out of the photo.
It's funny, like I didn't have to change a single setting on my camera to shoot the deer. Whenever I was shooting the little sapling, it was just all what I had, and it was just happened to work out that way.
Really nice.
Thank you.
So the noise that he made at you, Jim, was just him snorting to let you know that you're there and he's there.
It was like a snort, but it was like a higher, like it
Yeah,
sounded like a hiss. And
yeah,
then he
they blow
stomped
air.
his.
They
What's
blow
that?
air out to do that on purpose.
Yeah, it's the air blown out through his nostrils.
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones, they do it all the time up in the field here. I get like 10 of them that come down. And every once in a while, even the females will do it if they have the young around or something.
They use that as a warning device to the other deer around them. They're letting them know that they've seen something that doesn't belong there, and that's kind of the way a deer will alert the other deer around them that there's something going on there, and they're not sure what it is, but they're paying attention.
Well, you can definitely hear it. He stomped like his front legs too, or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he's just letting the other deer know that there's something going on, that you didn't belong there, so he was letting them know there's something there, and that's just part of their process that they do that.
It almost sounds like they're going to charge you.
Yeah, and then they turn around and go the other way.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing, and he started walking further up the hill. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And then he never stopped. It was like one of those like sculptures that the eyes follow you. He like did it the entire time he was walking up the hill, like 300 feet away. Okay, I got it.
You all can come hang out with me on my back deck, and we can watch the deer come down and eat the apples from the apple tree. And every once in a while, one of them will come down and do that. And they know we're here. They know we're here all the time. We watch them, but every once in a while, one of them will react, and I just talk to them and say, you know what? I don't tell them we're here.
I started talking to him too. I didn't know what else to do. No, I'm just here, like, and I'm not going to bother you.
Isn't that funny how we usually do that? We start talking to them like they're
Like
going
they
to
speak English.
understand us.
They might pick up on tone or something, or body language, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a calming technique for us, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot. Anybody else have any comments on this one?
No, I like it.
All right, we'll move on. Okay, we'll give Jim a second one here. All right, let us know about this one.
All right, well, this one is a little bit different than what I normally do. I don't normally post any of my drone photos anywhere on my website, or sometimes to Instagram, but very rarely. But I really like this one, and I liked it obviously because of the heart in the old Hilton, which is now the Wyndham. And this was like early May. So it was getting toward the end of whenever the heart was in the windows. And there was also a couple of the other windows too. But I wanted to get down there and take photos. But at the time, I didn't want to get close enough where I was downtown, and there was a lot of people taking selfies in front of the buildings. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. I want to keep my distance. So I decided to take my drone down just to capture it. And I actually lost signal. I don't know. It was just a really like goofy night for signal. So I took this photo blind, like with just the control. Like I was like, all right, well, this is probably about where I'm at, so I'll take it. And I liked how it turned out because the roads kind of framed the city, and then the river kind of almost framed the roads.
Yeah.
And it just was about how I liked it. And that was the shot that I liked the most. And I couldn't believe it because I couldn't see it on my phone to take the photo. When I got it back, I was kind of happy, but that's kind of the background of that one.
Just out of curiosity, where were you stationed?
I was stationed by the West End Bridge. So I actually was on top of, it's that really long building off of Carson Street. I can't think of the name of it, the Hatch Building or something. And sometimes you can go on the roof, and then sometimes you can't. They'll chase you off. Security will chase you off. And this was just one of the days that they chased me off. So I went down by the West End Bridge. There's a little parking lot that you can go and kind of park in behind, like where the railroad tracks are. And that's where I was standing.
Are there any restrictions in Pittsburgh as far as flying the drone?
There's crazy restrictions. It depends if, well, sporting events are one thing. You can't fly 1 hour before the sporting event, or it's supposed to be 1 hour after the sporting event is over, anywhere within, I think, a mile or two. But they extend that through like 5 a.m. So if the Pirates are home, you're not flying it, unless it's like, 5 o'clock before the game. You also aren't supposed to fly over state parks. So right here, I was still over the river. It was just high enough where I could, the perspective, like, look down on it. So I wasn't in the state park. So they don't want that, people flying in there. And then there's all kinds of aircraft advisories and stuff. Sometimes you have to call in ahead of time. Sometimes you have to check on an app. Most of it's, and you have to be within line of sight also. So there's a lot of restrictions flying down there, but there's plenty of apps that help you, but it's really tricky when you start getting into like events and that sort of stuff.
Jim, what kind of drone do you have?
That's a DJI Mavic Pro. I think it's the first one. It's not the second one. Yeah.
Jim, do you have to take a test for licensing and all? I understand that you have to take a test by the FAA to fly a drone. Is that correct?
You don't need a test to fly it. But if I were to sell this photo commercially or sell prints of it, I need to have a license and to have proof of that. My aircraft is registered with the FAA and I have all the clearances needed. I just don't have a commercial drone license for like the photography business part of it. I just fly it just for fun, really, and just take videos once in a while and whatnot.
Sure. What camera is on this drone? Is it a 720 or?
No, I don't even really know. I'd have to look that one up.
Okay.
It's nothing special.
Oh, okay.
The Maverick has a 1080 on it.
1080?
As far as video, it'll do 1080 on it.
Yeah, the megapixels, I don't even know. I think it's like it's like 7 or 12 or something like that. It's not that impressive megapixel wise. The 2 has a really impressive camera, but I can't afford that.
I have the Altel Evo that does 4K video and it's got a pretty good camera on it. I haven't flown in Pittsburgh yet, but I fly around up here a lot and stuff like that. So I was going to ask if you were a commercial pilot or not, if you've done your 107s.
No, not yet. I'm looking into it. My job actually wants me to do the tests because I work for an engineering firm. I'm not an engineer. I work in GIS. So they want somebody to fly some of the sites, and I do the maps already. And so they're willing to cover the cost of me getting a commercial drone license. And I've been looking more and more into it. And then like February kind of came around and everything went all crazy and,
Yeah.
But do you have one?
Yeah, I have the Altel Evo.
No, I meant the license, the commercial.
Oh, no. I don't have the license. I do the same as you. I have the, it's registered and I have all that stuff, but I haven't done the commercial license yet. But I've looked into it a little bit and I plan on getting that probably this winter when I have more time to fool around and take the test and study for it. But it's a pretty extensive test from what I understand.
That's what I'm hearing as well. I was curious if you had taken it.
You basically, I think Gene Uger was on here one time. I don't know if you were on here or not, but I believe he has a commercial license. Because he uses it for, he does real estate photography, and he uses a drone. But the license for that is basically the same as getting a license to fly an airplane. I mean, you basically have to know everything that you would have to know to fly a regular airplane to fly a drone commercially.
That explains the study guide that I was handed at work. When it got down, it looked like a phone book almost.
Right. Yeah. There's quite a few things online where you can do the studying online that are relatively cheap as far as that goes for getting that. So We can talk some other time. I don't want to hold the meeting up,
Sure.
but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the drone stuff, and I've been having I have a lot of fun with mine. I do stuff for my work. I don't charge them, so I don't get in trouble, but I take pictures of their buildings and stuff like that with the drone for them. So
Yeah, they're fun.
yeah,
Jim,
they
do you
are.
know if you're allowed to fly a drone at county parks?
Yes,
Yeah.
not state parks and not federal parks.
Okay.
So like national parks, you can't fly over Braddock's Grave up here where I live, or you can't fly over Fort Necessity. But I can fly around it, but not over top of it. You can't fly through any state park, so I can't fly in Ohio because that's a state park.
Why did they do that? Do you know?
For the park being allowed to have the natural stuff, they don't want it to be polluted with noise from a drone.
Oh, okay.
Was really the
Takes
main
one of the
reason for
swarm
it.
of bees.
Yeah, because they're noisy. You can hear them even if you're flying at 300 feet above ground, you can hear that drone.
Oh,
I
okay.
was at Cucumber with one once, like, I don't know, probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And just going up and down in front of the falls. And they were there until probably their battery died, basically. But you could hear it from around the hill where the Trillium are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which now you wouldn't be able to do, or you're not supposed to do that. Those regulations change all the time. It's actually almost a full-time job just keeping track of what you are and are not allowed to do with them. But I had mine out the other day flying over top of Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff like that in Uniontown. I flew about around close to a 5-mile radius around where I was at. And you do have height limits. You're only allowed to go to 400 feet.
All right,
No.
well, let's move on. Okay, did Margie join the call?
Nope.
Nope, we'll skip Margie.
She probably looked at the newsletter and went, "Oh, they're talking about family portraits. I don't care about that."
Yeah. She was asking me what we were talking about, and I said, I don't know. Get on and find out.
Suzanne, do you mind if we critique your photo?
No, I welcome that. Thanks.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the shot.
Okay. Well, my husband has a little pond in our backyard. It's, if you could even call it a pond, and just has some goldfish in there. And it was a very bright, sunny day, and I clipped the apple blossoms and just threw them in the pond and waited for the goldfish to come around. But after I posted that, I have another version of that where I cropped it a little bit closer to the apple blossoms, and I think the colors were better on the other one I have. I really don't know why I posted this one, but I just like the look of the apple blossoms. I processed it so that it would look like an older painting, just like the flowers were painted. And then I like the subtle movement you can see in the water too. But that's basically it. I just waited for the fish to come up. So no big deal.
I would print that on a canvas.
On canvas.
Yeah, that would look nice.
Yeah. I think that canvas texture would really make it look like a beautiful painting.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
I agree.
What post-processing did you use? Lightroom or Photoshop?
Lightroom.
Lightroom, yeah. I like the highlights of the flowers and the darkness of the background to concentrate on the main subject. Really nice.
Did you use a polarizer at all, Suzanne?
Not with these. I think I used my macro lens. I have an old Minolta macro, and I didn't use any lenses that day. So I deliberately waited for the sun so I could get like a lot of highlights like that. And
Yeah, there's not a lot of reflection on the water. That's why I was asking. It looks really clear.
Mm-hmm.
actually, the water's really dirty. Probably why it looks like that. If you saw this on you guys are probably thinking it's like this really nice, and it's just a plastic tub with dirty water in it. 3 goldfish that have been in there for probably 3 years. So I think they were actually feeder fish that just got big.
Well, Suzanne, I've got my own pond story in goldfish. Our pond is probably about 4 or 5 foot in diameter. It's in ground, plastic liner. And we put it in about 10 years ago. And I bought, I think, 10 feeder goldfish, and they were 29 cents a piece, too cheap to buy koi for it. And so they lasted literally 9 years before I killed them off, except for 2. It was the most stupid thing I've ever done in the world. I think it ended up being a small leak in the liner, but the water was draining out or evaporating, losing water quicker than it normally would. And so the one afternoon I got the hose out and I stuck it in, and I turned on the water. And I lost track of what I was doing. I needed something at Home Depot. Went to Home Depot, got whatever it was, got back home, went out in the back patio, and there was water everywhere. And you could tell the fish at that point were lethargic. And by the next day, I had had babies over the ensuing years, but I think I lost close to 10 fish that were probably 6 to 8 inches long at that point in time. Chlorine poisoned them is what I did.
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway, that's my fish story.
Well, mine are.
I'm proud of it, but it happened. Anyway, nice photo.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you mind if we do this one as well?
No, I really like a critique on this one because I liked it. I like the shapes in it, and like the angles of the flowers, and then I like the angles of the bee's legs. You know, it's like all this kind of movement in it. The only thing I don't like after I posted, of course, every time I post something, I wish I would have put something else on or did something differently. But I think maybe that real light green in between the 2 flowers, maybe I should have toned that down a little bit.
Where it's a little bit bright here.
Yeah, it might be a little too bright. But what I wanted to ask too, if you guys thought maybe it was too dark on the right-hand side. But I mean, I liked the bee, you know, I thought he was cute, and like I said, I liked the movement of the angles of the petals on the flowers, and then the angle of the bee's legs.
I would
Do you have to crop this in at all?
I may have a little bit, not a whole lot. I use the same lens that my ancient Minolta macro, and I use that on the bee too.
I agree with you with that little green. My eye goes to the yellow part of the green, but I like the dark on the because it brings your eye into the bee. Distracted with the busyness of the flower.
Yeah, I think if I tone it down a little bit, it'll be a better photo.
I would tone that little bit of green there in the center that you already mentioned down just a little bit. I would crop in just a little bit on the right-hand side, a little bit more, like maybe in about to the end, go over to the.
He made it more square, just like
Yeah.
up and down here.
Go to your right there, Jim, a little bit more.
More to
About
the right.
the edge of where that box is. Just cut off about half an inch on the right hand side. Would be what I would do. And then the pink petal in the bottom left hand corner.
Oh,
I'd do something about that.
right. You know what? I never even noticed that.
I know
That's
everyone
Brian.
says that whenever I point something out on the edge of the photo.
I know, that's amazing. And, you know, I was looking at it and I just it never even dawned on me to take that out.
Yeah, you'd almost have to take it out. You can't, cropping it out wouldn't make any sense. But you gotta, I would get rid of it if it was me. I would have put that in Photoshop and removed it.
No, I totally agree. But if I do all of those things, do you think it's a decent photo?
Yep.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
It would be
Hey,
another good
Suzanne.
one for a print as well.
And I don't know this for a fact, but looking at this, is this the same one that was in the newsletter?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay, Marty could tell you that that's illegal.
it is illegal, and I wasn't gonna put it in the newsletter.
It's illegal.
Was you can't put it before the voting.
You could be jailed for this, Suzanne.
Oh, you're not allowed to use a photo for two different reasons.
Right. If
Well,
you're
it's
getting,
not the two reasons. In the month of the contest, the photo couldn't have been already posted on within, like, it couldn't be posted on Reddit or the newsletter or that type of stuff.
Okay.
But Jim, it's COVID, so we have to give her a pass. Okay.
Yeah,
Everything is allowable with COVID.
because I like the photo.
Marty wanted bees, so I was trying to give her all the bees I took, you know, and that was one of them, and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, well, I put it in the newsletter, and then I saw it on Reddit, and it's like, do I take it out?
No.
I really like the photo, so stay there.
Okay, well, I'll do those adjustments then, you know, before I.
Suzanne, I have a question for you. So what's the source of light for this photo?
The source of light.
Yeah.
The
Is it just
sunlight.
natural?
Yeah, just all natural light.
Okay, I guess the reason I was asking, I am surprised how dark this side is relative to the rest of it.
Yeah, I really didn't do anything special with it. Just happened to be the light. I think it was, I can't even remember if it was later in the day, but the light just fell in the right place there, you know, on the bee and on the flowers. So I was just fortunate. I didn't, you know, do anything special.
Very
Other
nice.
comments?
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, the detail of the bee.
Mhm.
Very nice.
You can see all the details in the bee's wings, which you
Yeah.
don't usually get to see.
I liked it too because I could see the pollen on his legs, you know, and I was happy with that too. And
What lens did you use, Suzanne?
what was that?
Lens. What lens did you use?
Just an old Minolta lens, because I have the Sony Alpha, and it still takes those old Minolta lenses.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty old one.
Okay, thanks, Suzanne. Another goldfish. We're gonna skip this one.
You know, I also have a goldfish dandelion shot, which I think I couldn't figure out which one to put
Okay,
on.
we saw enough of those. Thank you. Is this Alan's? Is that his name?
No.
That's not me.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Brian, just out of curiosity, do you know who that is?
No, but I can find out.
What's your screen name, Alan?
AR shooter.
Okay, I knew it was something different. Okay. All right, I'll let you tear this one up. So this was, Pat and I, ever since the stay-at-home orders, we've been taking walks, not necessarily every day of the week, but at least 3 or 4 days of the week. And we go to a different park or trail most of the time. And this happened to be, there's a small pond at the Winnie Palmer Nature Reserve at St. Vincent. And came across this guy. And I liked the photo, but I got to tell you, all that algae that's around the frog, it was the most grotesque green you can imagine. And so I did my best to tone it down without turning it into a black and white photo, so that the frog would kind of come up out of the algae a little bit. And maybe I could have taken a little bit further, but that was my main concern with the photo, was trying to desaturate the algae, but still making it look realistic.
I think you did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, I do too. I would have never thought that you changed the color of the algae. It does look natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love being able to see the frog's eyes. They pop out. I think probably because you did back off the color of the green of the algae.
Yeah, it was pretty distracting.
Well, I'm gonna probably be the only one to say I didn't see the frog at first.
No, I agree with you.
I think he blends in.
But is that an asset or a liability?
Depends on which way you're looking at it. Like what were you going for with the image?
Actually, it was a photo of algae, but the frog happened to get in the way.
It really,
I want to be able to see him off the bat.
I had the same problem. I had to look for it. And I think that is, in fact, an asset to the photo. It demonstrates how uniquely creatures blend in with their background.
Well, with the frog, for the frog, that camouflage is good for him.
Yeah.
That's just camouflage.
I think one thing that I would try that makes him pop out just a little bit more is to crop it down from the top just to below that darker bluish stuff. Yeah. Like right there.
Like across there?
Yeah.
Another thing that you could try if you wanted to make him pop out more would be to add a little bit of burning in behind his eyes. So the background just slightly, maybe, I don't know, like a third of a stop darker. That would make him pop out.
In this area here?
There, and just kind of like, yeah, just around that. Just kind of like mask it around it. If you were looking for that effect, it might help pop it out a little bit. But I like it camouflage too.
Because once you see him, you can't not see him.
Yeah, once you find him, it's like, oh, there's a frog in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at first I had to search for him because he blended in so well.
Yeah.
It's interesting because obviously I knew I took a photo of a frog, so for me, he's just there. Interesting.
I like it that that little bit of water puddle is behind his eyes, and I feel that helps bring him forward and stands out from the algae a little bit. But I do agree if you crop down, like Beth was saying, kind of brings your eye down to him more. But
it's funny because I understand the need for the crop, and I might have even done that But the fact that it was already literally all algae, I thought having a little bit more of the water in there kind of helped. So it wasn't completely green, but
Right. I can see that too.
yeah. All righty, thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, Marty, can we talk about this one?
Sure. So we were just out in our yard, and it was just one of those Kodak moments where she was smelling those little daisies, and all I had was my cell phone. So I just took it. I just like little kids. I actually drew a drawing back in '81 of a toddler smelling the flowers, and it was like, oh, that's almost like the drawing that I did. So I just liked it.
It's very sweet.
Yes.
It just shows like the innocence of a child.
Yep.
I agree. I think it's adorable.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like the way she comes up out of the corner of the frame.
Yeah.
It brings their eye to what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, rather than a comment, I'm going to ask this as a question. And realizing you don't have much control over this issue because it's not like it's a portrait that you're doing of her. Would the photo have been better if her head had been turned to see the flowers to her nose or not?
It probably would have, but if I would have moved, she would have. Wouldn't have gotten it. Because she didn't know I was taking her picture. If she knows I'm taking her picture, she poses, so.
Yeah.
I like the little pigtail.
Yeah, she's into braids lately. She wants to be like Elsa and Anna.
Yeah, I think you should hang that one on your wall. It's really cute.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Marty.
And what you don't see is if you look at the bottom, by the bottom, like middle, she has her Elsa boots on.
Oh, is that what she has on in there?
Yes,
What is it again?
she has these like, I don't know, like little mucklucks on with her.
Is that what that is there?
Yeah. And they have Elsa and Anna on the sides of them. She's always in her, it's so funny, but at least you didn't see too much. But
Hey, Brian, how much time do you need?
Go to about 8:30. Give about 10 more minutes, and then I can go to what I need to do.
Okay. Sandra, I'm pretty sure, is not on the call. And I've never met Sandra.
Nice photo.
It's a beautiful photo, and I'm so glad that she's begun posting for the challenge, because over the last few years, she frequently will judge on the contest, but typically does not enter photos. But this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's the winner.
Yeah, and it won, yeah.
Yeah.
The soft colors, it looks kind of like a watercolor.
Yeah.
I love the colors and the composition. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She said she took it with a cell phone, correct?
She
Yeah.
did.
That's
In fact, you know what, Jim? I'm glad you brought that up, because hold on for a second. Melissa, what can you tell me is wrong here?
I commented.
You did.
I apologized a month ago.
She did. I remember.
Oh, you already apologized?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That might have been on one of the Wednesday night things.
Yeah, I think I made a public service announcement about commenting on pictures prior to the end of the contest.
Okay, all right.
I do not always see the flags when they pop up on my phone. I don't always catch the flag,
Yeah.
and so then I comment, and then it's like shit.
I did that.
Anyway, kudos to Sam.
I'm not commenting on anything anymore. I comment on the wrong one.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's not part of the contest. Other than that, comment away.
Just do it from a computer.
Hey, well,
I
Brian,
can't
just
think I'm
in
big enough
talking
on my
about
phone
Sandra,
anyway.
do you know her at all? Did she used to come to meetings? Or?
Sandra? Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does she have health issues that she doesn't more actively?
She has, I believe she has, not issues, but, I'm trying to think of the word. She has another thing that she does on the same night as our meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a conflict.
Scheduling.
All right.
Actually, I think she is part of the, Master Gardeners Club that Margie used to be part of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a very nice lady. Very, very nice lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Alan's here. We'll do that. Oh, well, first I should ask, Alan, are you okay with us commenting on this?
Yeah,
Tell us about the photo.
not much to say. It's a bush that's outside beside my deck. Every year it gets them white flowers all over it. And although this year it got frostbit a little bit, but
Is that an azalea?
I have no idea what it is.
It kind of looks like one.
Kind of looks like it would be. And if it got frostbit, that'd be about the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, we lost all of ours.
Yeah.
It was a freebie that just grew up there.
How did it look in color?
I don't know. I shot it in monochrome.
Oh, okay. All right.
I really like the texture of the photo because you could sort of guess and almost assume how it feels just by, like, if you were to run your hands through it. And the one thing I would probably, I know you can't really change what's in the photo, but if there's a little bit more black in it, or like those green leaves, I think that would add a lot more to the white. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah. I think there's a little too much of a blown out section in the top towards the.
This area looks like it might be blown out here.
Yeah, a little bit in there.
I don't know that it's blown out, but it could stand a little more contrast there.
Yeah. It would bring all those flowers back out.
Actually, when I shot that, it was bright and sunny, and I actually wanted to use the sunshine to try to get in behind, but it didn't work out that way.
Gotcha.
Anybody else?
Whenever that's in full bloom, you hardly see any of the green leaves. It's just all white flowers.
Yeah.
Wow.
They get full.
Yeah, there's a lot of flowers there. Absolutely. It's got to be really pretty in person.
I'll have to take a shot of it in color next spring.
Yeah. What time of day did you shoot this?
It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
You might watch it for earlier in the morning, or later in the afternoon, so the light's coming from the side. So you get some shadows on it.
In the morning, my house blocks the sun, and in the evening, there's a tree that blocks it.
Yeah.
Until like later on, like now, it'll shine in underneath the tree.
Well, Alan, just out of curiosity, you mentioned you shot this in monochrome. The camera you use, can you do both JPEG and RAW at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. So did you shoot this just JPEG, or do you have JPEG and RAW?
I do JPEG and RAW all the time.
Okay. So if you wanted color, you could have made one.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm just on a black and white kick.
Yeah.
You and Dennis have something in common then. And Beth too.
Mhm.
I guess I
I've been
could be a
doing
worse
color
company.
lately.
Okay, let's see. Candace isn't here in the call, although I like the photo.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice
Yes.
contrast. It's beautiful.
I like that the light just kind of grazes across it.
Yeah. Another Sandra. Oh, here's one from Beth.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay,
Go
Beth?
for it.
You okay with the comment?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, tell us about it.
Pretty sure this is a lens baby. I don't remember if this is the Velvet 56 or the Velvet 28, but both of them you can get really, really close. So this is just a single rhododendron bloom, and I'd sprayed a little bit of water on it from a mister bottle.
Mhm.
I'd have like sparkly stuff on the side, and that's basically it. I was probably 5 inches away from it or so, and that's, you can get with the 28 you can get about 2 or 3 inches away, and with the 56 it's about 5 inches.
Well, Beth, I got a question for you. Maybe it's an optical illusion. So
Mhm.
like the stamina, I'm not sure that's the correct term, coming out of that is in focus in the front,
Mm-hmm.
like right here.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it's the same plane as this pedal. So how did this pedal get, maybe not exactly in focus, but primarily in focus? Because it looks like it's behind.
It looks like it, but it is pretty close to the same plane, I think.
Okay.
And I think that the pedal might, because I'm not shooting exactly from the side or exactly from the front. It was kind of angled just a little bit.
From like this direction here. And
Yeah.
okay. Comments?
No, I love it. I think it's beautiful. Got a soft look to it. It's got a lot of. I love the water droplets on the pedal. I just think it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Mm,
Yeah, I agree with Annie. I like the water droplets a lot.
Almost look like glass
Mm-hmm.
down in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
like Jim said, I was a little distracted by the right-hand side. I mean, every time I look at this little stamen, and that's ethereal, but then you're drawn to this in focus area on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, Dennis. That's where my eye keeps going.
Yeah, you know, and maybe you do a little bit of smoothing or a little defocusing on the right to lessen the impact or lessen the brightness.
Okay.
Even. It's a nice photo.
Thanks.
I mean, the little stamen, is that the right word, stamen?
I don't remember if those are the stamens or if that's or where the pistils are.
Biology in
Pistils and
senior high
stamens.
school. I mean, you're grabbed by those, and it's like they're in space.
Mm.
Then you're kind of grabbed by this right side, and maybe just de-emphasize it, maybe crop out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually just reaching for my cropping stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, not all of it, but maybe some of it.
Yeah.
De-emphasize it a little bit. Turn down the vibrance a little
enough.
bit.
Just leave enough to be like a frame
Yeah, a base.
and an anchor point for the botany parts.
Maybe it should be vertical.
And Dennis, you were right. That is the stamen. I looked it up.
Yeah. Beth, maybe it should be a vertical.
Yeah. I could see it as a square almost.
Yeah.
Well, depending on what else she cropped from this, I don't know, you couldn't really do vertical on this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not enough height to it, if you will.
Well, yeah, but even though it wouldn't be the way that it was.
Oh, you mean actually turn the photo?
If I turned it 90 degrees,
Oh.
that actually might work. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. A couple of options.
I hadn't thought of that.
You know, from the stamen standpoint, I think that would look unnatural if you rotated the photo 90 degrees.
Yeah, but you know, it's a photo that is something, not a photo of something. So it kind of stands on its own merit as a photograph. And it isn't so important that it is of something, that it becomes something as a photograph.
Good point.
Okay, any other comments?
Yeah, I'll chime in. You were just talking about that third, the vertical line of the third, the vertical third. Yes, if you move that, move your cursor to the top again. Okay, this area in here, just to the left of it, has a sort of an orange, yellow, burnt color.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw all this, I liked everything I saw. The only thing I would have done is, what did I write here? I would take a stamp or the clone tool, and I'd be real careful to make sure that I still maintained what looked like the bouquet going out of the depth of field, but that I would have taken a sample of all of this nice droplets in here, and I would have kind of moved it up into that area where the arrow is. Yes, right in that area there, and then made sure that, again, right where you have the hand placed right there is where it would begin to fade out into the background. It would soften, and that was the only thing that I saw. I thought that every other part of it was the message, the color, what it is, and the way that it's shown. The 3/4 view, what it is, it's a 3/4 view of the blossom. And as I look all the way over to the left side, the left stamen, the farthest left stamen, just the tip of it, sharpen it up a little bit more, so that if you follow its line, follow that stamen line back down to the one that comes almost to the center, just follow that line. You know, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep following it. And right there, right there. See how sharp that one is? So if you could go make that one over there on that side, that sharp. That's all. And that's it. It would be using the clone tool and getting some more of that moisture look on that area that has the rust colored look to it, and maybe sharpen that. End of my little contribution.
Well, Rex, Beth might not want to tell you, but I suspect it would be impossible for her to sharpen that.
Unless I hand draw it, because it isn't. It's because that's halfway into the flower, so
yeah,
it isn't.
If you place the clone tool over, say, this one right here.
Oh,
I've got my cursor. The one that you brought it down to. In other words, bring that hand back down over here to the other one that I was pointing out.
You want to take this one and put it there.
Well, take a part of it, just the very sharp end of it, and leave that red where it is, so that you continue to have exactly the way it was shot, but you just took that sharp little end of the stamen and put it in there. Done.
Okay. And Brian, I know you want to get to it. Let me just, because I know we're close to the end. Did we skip? Oh, Brian, you want to critique your photo?
I don't care. Sure.
Tell us about it.
It's Uniontown Courthouse.
Actually, didn't we talk about you?
I did.
Was there a similar photo to this we talked about?
Similar.
Yeah, I showed a bunch of pictures from there, and I had one. This was in those pictures, but I skipped over it when we were talking because it was in this contest.
Okay.
Because it's on my website, but it was one of the pictures I took whenever I was out walking around that day in Uniontown, just fooling around, and I liked it. That's about it as far as what I know about it.
Well, I think we should let Rex take his keystoning tool and straighten out this wall for you.
Yeah.
Hey, we all have one. If you got Lightroom, you've got it. If you got Photoshop, you have it.
I wish there was a little bit more light on the courthouse itself,
Yeah.
the old stone part, because I think that's the most interesting part of it all,
Yeah.
and all the roof lines and the detail of the stone.
And can we agree on having the two clocks give the same time?
Very observant, Dennis.
This is
Yeah.
Uniontown.
Yeah.
There's a good chance there's clocks on the other side that have different times too.
Were any of them right?
And there's also a good chance there's nobody in Uniontown knows how to read that type of clock too.
Hey,
You
Beth.
might crop it to 8x10 instead of. I mean, the blue sky above the clouds is kind of maybe unnecessary, and there's a lot of street in front that you could crop out.
I wanted to
So
say
the bottom and the top, you're saying, Dennis?
Yeah, maybe.
each clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those clocks may actually be times for different areas. I don't know. I don't know why they would do that, but it is Uniontown.
I don't know, it's like 4 hours apart.
Yeah.
Assuming they're both in the daytime or nighttime.
Well, I can tell you one thing: neither one of them is right for the time of the day that I took the picture.
Yeah.
So.
All right, anybody else? Okay, Brian, I'm gonna stop my share here.
Okay. Alrighty, guys. All right, so family portraits. And posing was what we were supposed to talk about. And I looked at some different things and thought, let's not talk about the old style standard mom and dad and kids and everybody wrapped around each other and stuff like that. And just, I don't know. We've been kind of talking about a more of a modern style of portrait as over the last year or so. And I found a neat little video that I like. So we're going to play that on, it's a YouTube video of a portrait photographer that does families. And I just liked her approach to it and the style of pictures that she accomplished by doing this process. So I'm going to show that to you. And let's see, I need to do that and I need to do that.
Brian, while you're getting that ready, I don't know if anybody else has been like watching, I think particularly Channel 2, the local news, has been featuring local high school graduation photos. Well, not the graduation photos, the graduates' high school photos. And I find it interesting the different poses that are used in different areas for the kids. It's just interesting to see how different they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you should see a woman with a big smile on her face.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to show this video. This is how to pose in direct lifestyle family photography. with Ellen Blair. She is a creative live teacher as well, and has a full course on family portraits, but this is a 8-minute and 54-second video, which I watched and I really liked it, and I like her approach to it. I don't know that I could do it because I don't really like people that much, but I think that she does an excellent job at what she does, and this is I think a really great approach to taking pictures of a family. So without me saying anything else, I'm gonna play this video.
Hi, I'm Elena S. Blair, and I'm going to teach you how to create natural, organic connection with any family that you work with using natural family posing. I start actually without bringing out my camera. So I get down and I make sure that I introduce myself to every single child. Even if the child is a baby, I'm going to get right up really close to that baby and just kind of make them know that I am interested in getting to know them. This really helps everybody to relax and know that we are friends and we're going into this with a really laid back mentality. Okay, so we're going to start standing up right here, okay? When I start posing them, I start with standing poses because I feel like that they seem a little bit less intimate and the family feels a little bit more comfortable interacting with me when they're standing as opposed to sitting. It allows them to make space with their bodies a little bit if they need to. Actually, yeah, have her kind of step in there. Bodies right next to each other. All right, girls, come here. Your turn, your turn. Okay, go stand right here. Now give each other a big hug. Can you give each other a big hug? I feel like I'm directing almost the whole time. I'm telling them what I want them to do, how I want them to behave, really. So I got the mom and dad right together, and then I asked them to kiss just to kind of break the ice, get them in the mode of my style of photography, which is going to be pretty close, and me asking them to do things like that. Hi, Rosie, look, can you see her? Rosie. And then I always come in for every pose and take detail shots within the pose. Good job. I'm going to give her a kiss right here on the cheek. So I try to get at least 1 or 2 standing poses right away, and popping a kid up on the shoulders is a great way to kind of get a variation of them just standing. It kind of makes it a little more interesting, gives different depth. So we got someone up high, and then I like to spread out one of the kids too to just kind of elongate the pose a little bit, just to sort of, again, provide variety and provide a little bit more depth. And then I always make sure though that they're always touching. So if you notice, like I made sure that mom was holding that child's hand or looking at that child so that kid is part of the shot. Flannery, look over at them. Don't look at me. Look over at your family. Good job. Perfect. You guys, this is easy. You're doing so well. All right, hop down. All right, good job. Okay, maybe we should try sitting down now. What do you guys think? Great. Sound good? Now, normally if we were out in the field, that wouldn't be done in the same place. I would do standing in one spot, and I would probably move to a different spot to do the sitting. But here, we were just in one room, so I moved right to sitting, and I move really quick because you never know when those kids are just going to be done. Wrap you up. Okay, now don't look at me. Just kind of look at each other, okay? Dad, look right at Rosie. Maybe kiss her on her cheek and snuggle right in. Good job. Perfect, you guys. Perfect. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about the gallery as a whole. And so I want to make sure that there's going to be plenty of variety. And so that's why with each pose, like with the standing, I did a couple different variations. And then with the sitting, same thing. I did 2 different variations because that's going to provide me with a lot of options. Even though I'm doing it quickly, it's going to allow there to be quite a bit of variety in the posing. I think we need to shake a little bit. You guys want to move a little bit? Okay. How about we all stand in a line and hold hands and dance? The reason that right after that we did a movement pose was because the kids needed to move. You can tell. They were like wiggling and, going crazy laying there with the mom. So I got up and we did a movement pose or 2, and that is what a great way to keep the kids interested in the shoot because they're still sort of curious about what I'm going to do, what's going on, but to allow them to move their bodies. And it ends up being really meaningful too for the family because they are looking at each other when they're moving usually. You can capture lots of details within movement. People's faces relax when they move, so I do a lot of movement. Perfect. All right, everybody hold hands. Ready? And this is going to sound really weird, but I promise it looks good in the picture. So everybody's going to dance, okay? So just move your bodies a little bit. Look at your mom and dad when you're doing it though. See if they're doing something silly. Perfect. Okay. Just a couple more. I mean, you guys are doing awesome. You guys are killing it. So I'm going to come and we're going to stand in front of this window just to kind of change the light a little bit. And then we're going to take a break, okay, Rosie? We're listening to Elena, remember? Look at those eyes. Okay, come on over here. Go ahead and walk. I'll get you guys walking over there. Oh, big girls, come over here by Mama. See, come over here. And give Mom a big hug, okay? And you are gonna get little miss and hold her up like this, okay? One thing in lifestyle photography is that they need to be told what to do constantly. You'll probably notice that I am talking the entire time. It's very rare that I'm not talking. And the kids need it, of course, but the parents need just as many verbal cues as the kids, maybe more. So I constantly am saying, don't look at me, look at each other, and then to get the kids, when they start wandering off, to come back, like I said, I say, come on, run up really quick and give Mom a hug, run up and give Dad a hug. So cute. Good job, easy. Good job, you guys. We're gonna Mom and Dad give each other a big hug without any kids in here. Like this, turn towards each other.
Can I take my shoes off for this one?
Yeah, can you taller than him? Oh. Yeah. When I get the Mom and Dad alone, it gives the kids an opportunity to just scram and run around a little bit. And so I say, okay guys, you can get out of here for a second. Let's get Mom and Dad together. And I do it when I know that the kids need a little break. And what's funny is that usually when you start photographing Mom and Dad alone, the kids want to come back. All right, girls, you better go get Mom and Dad. Can you give them a big hug? Go get them, go get them. Perfect. Everybody come together and just sandwich, okay? So like a super big squeeze. So let's get you in the front. And then the family sandwich is one that they just understand. Basically, it's giving them a visual of what I want them to do. I want them to squish up together and be super close so that we can really feel that loving connection. And it usually is kind of silly too, which is fun. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. So I really like to spoil Mom at photo shoots because usually Mom is the photographer of the family. I like to make sure that I get Mom with every single kid if I can. And the verbal cue that I love to give for Mom is I ask them to get right up against their child and I say, now let's just really breathe your child in. Yeah. Kind of like breathe her in. Maybe they're a little bit worried about the chaos of the shoot, and that just kind of brings them to a present moment and allows them to really be emotive for me and connect with their kiddo. Perfect. Okay, Rosie, it's your turn to be with Mama. So what I like to do when the child is not really interested in being cuddled or snuggled up is I like to have the mom do something a little bit more playful. So I'll approach it, rather than having Mom breathe the child in, I'll have the mom do something like rub noses with the little one or do a big spin. And that kind of helps them to connect still, and it allows me to get in close and get intimate things like Mom's arm on the child's back, their hair kind of intermingling, those kind of things that I see as connection between mother and child, but done in a little bit more of a playful way, rather than that breathing in that maybe some children might be responsive to. Good job. All right. Perfect. Okay. I think we're good. So if your vision isn't really connecting with what is actually happening at your shoot, that happens a lot when you're new. You have all of these ideas of what you want your work to look like. You show up at the shoot, you think you've had everything prepared, and it's just not really happening. It's not connecting. And I think that the reason being is that you're thinking a lot about what you want your photos to look like, not what you want your photos to feel like. So if I want it to be joyful, I'm going to direct them in a way that is going to result in a much more joyful image. If I want it to be tender or serene, I'm going to direct them in a way that's going to yield something a little bit more tender or serene, or I'm going to focus more on a part of the pose like the hand or the hair or whatever detail that's going to emote that feeling that I want out of the image. So I think what happens a lot when we're new, and we all do this, I used to do it too, is we're not really thinking about our vision, we're thinking about someone else's. So we have all of these ideas of what we want our work to look like, but we really aren't thinking about what we want our work to feel like. And that's a major disconnect, and when you can put feeling into your work, it's going to make a big difference. High five! Do you do high five? Good job! I'm so proud of you guys. I never stop. So if you want to learn more about lifestyle photography, please join me for my Creative Life class, where I am going to go into everything you need to know on how to guide and direct your family so that you can create images that are full of life and love and emotion that really just set you apart from the crowd because they're meaningful. They mean something to you as an artist, but they also mean something to your clients.
Okay, guys, what do you think of that one?
Good.
She's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. And like I said, I wanted to see something that wasn't just the standard. I mean, if you look at this photo up here in the right corner of this video, see the standard
Right.
dad and the kids and all that kind of stuff. Something that was more exciting, and I kind of liked our video. I thought that that was definitely a different look at family portraits. And I think their final images, I'd say she makes a pretty good living at selling those.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Would be
Yeah.
my guess. So
I like her concept of feeling, not posing. Just go with the feeling rather than the technical aspects.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've seen a shift in portrait photography overall, and we've been talking about this for a little while now, but I think we've seen a shift in the style of portrait photography being more free and more open rather than rigid and move your arms and put your fingers exactly here and that kind of stuff. Not that that's wrong or not that that is completely dead. And I know there's a lot of photographers out there. There's a guy by the name of Rick Farrow that is the wedding photographer for Disney and does amazing work. And his work is very, very rigid and very, very, very posed to the point where like fingernails have to be a certain direction and stuff like that. But I know I like this style a little bit better. I think it's easier to work with people when you're allowing them to have a little bit of fun than making them stand in a very, very weird pose for a period of time while you try to take their photograph.
Kids are especially difficult to photograph. I have 2 granddaughters, and it is tough even to take pictures of them, and certainly not posing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If I had tried to do a really, I almost want to say stilted, but a rigid pose with Nate, it would last for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could get him to do stuff like she was doing, no problem. Getting him to stop would be tough, but
So anyhow,
That's why I like taking pictures of kids, because I like taking pictures of movement, and you never know what they're going to do, and you can always say something or hold up a toy or something and you get another reaction out of them.
because they're not thinking about what's the picture going to look like. They're in the moment. Whereas the parents are going to be more, oh, is this going to look good?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, guys, that was pretty much what I had.
It was good, Brian.
Thank you. I like that video. I watched it a couple times. I kind of like it, and I like the idea of it. So
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, and you notice that she never stopped shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
When she would grab a pair of hands or a single child.
Yep. And wouldn't it be nice to have a?
The lighting was pretty much natural with that big glass wall that she had opposite the wall where she posed, where they started shooting.
I was just going to say, wouldn't it be nice if you were a portrait photographer to have that studio?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't ask for better lighting than what she had there as far as natural light, and that huge wall to work with that she was working with, and then turn around and you have the windows to work with. So yeah, it was a really good studio.
I was wondering what kind of shutter speed she was using to catch all that action.
Very
Focus.
fast.
Yeah, I would think so.
At least she used a good camera.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a Canon. Right, Dennis? That was a
It
good
was.
camera. Rex?
A Canon with a
That was a
1.2
good
millimeter,
camera.
50
Not
millimeter.
right. There's none better.
So, all right, good meeting, guys.
I thought she did great. I like where she started too. You know, one of the things that I've said before is you start the posing, when you're going to do posing, start from the feet, work your way up. And that's what she did. Her very first one was standing start. She was starting with standing. I like that.
Yep.
and having them always touching. There's always a connection. And then one of the things is the killer is if you run out of things to do, it drains very quickly. So one of her things, one of the suggestions is move quickly and do a short variety of each pose. Make sure that what turns out to be a pose, which is something that occurs in passing, make a couple of them so that they have choices to make. And keep the kids engaged in the activity of the shoot. Because as long as you want them in the picture, keep them engaged. But notice she also did spend a period of time with just mom and dad. And then I noticed that she was very specific about having mom with each one of the children. So those are, I was taking notes right here. I was writing as fast as I could because it was like, it's like a recursor for me to learn this over again. Child get to be with mom. Each child gets to be the special child, and they like that moment. Rubbing noses, focusing on body parts. That was another one. Work toward, oh, this is the one that I thought of, where at the end she says, make it more their vision than your vision. Because when you're having them do things they want to do, they're going to give you the moment when you see it's time to hit the shutter. So allowing them to actually have a big part of that is better. Hi there in the background.
Hi, Carol.
Hi. Carol.
I haven't touched mine. You don't need to refill mine yet. Okay. And,
Didn't look to drinking it.
no, mine's still right over here. And yeah, and the one thing that she was getting ready to charge you for in the next session was what we call the pre-shoot, where all of this is worked out in advance. You get they begin to get an idea of what it is that you can help them do. You give them suggestions. They have ideas. You listen to their ideas. And then when they come in for the photography session, it helps the outcome of the session. And on Flickr, I have different albums. One of them is just children, and some are families. So maybe sometime, I don't know, we're running out of time real fast here, I see. So that maybe sometime in the future, I'll share them if you want to see them.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And by the way, most important part about it all is please critique them, because there are plenty of them that have things that need to be changed in them. But we did what the family wanted. We chose the ones, and the ones that they wanted, I usually use, and once in a while I'll use something else. But there's plenty of them that probably could have used some tweaking. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Rex.
Hi, Carol.
Carol?
Okay. Beth, I seen that your pup was there saying hi as well.
Yep, she has to photobomb. I think she wants to go out, but.
All right.
Hey, don't you have a kid to help let the doggy out?
He always asks me. It doesn't matter how many people could be sitting in the kitchen right next to the door that she always goes out. She will look for me. I could be on the other end of the house. I'm the one that she goes to go out. But if she's looking for snacks, it's Ken.
Oh, okay.
Alan, did you send me a friend request on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. I normally don't respond to them until I'm sure it's the right person, so I will accept that at this point. I posted a link to the video that we just watched on our Reddit page already, so that is there. I will post our meeting tonight up a little bit later tonight after the computer does its conversions. And I can't think of really anything else. We will have our Swig Light meeting on Wednesday night next week. Or no, this week. I don't even know what day it is. Today's Monday.
It's
We'll have one
Monday.
on Wednesday night. I think that's
I've
all
got
I have.
pictures I can share on Wednesday too.
Okay.
What do you have, Beth?
I've got a small folder of pictures I can share on Wednesday.
Good.
Cool. Cool.
Sounds great.
Good deal. If anyone, if no one else has anything, I can, I guess we can say good evening and I can go get my dinner.
Good.
Oh,
Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Have a good night.
good night.
Good night, everyone.
No ice cream.
All right.
No, I had that at 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, we didn't have any last night. We were too full.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.